China is imposing sanctions on 11 Americans after the Trump administration took similar action against Hong Kong officials last week. 6 U.S. lawmakers are among those targeted. That includes Republican Senators Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Pat Toomey. Individuals from nonprofit and human rights groups are also on the list. China's foreign ministry says those sanctioned are being singled out for, quote, behaving badly on Hong Kong-related issues. For more on this, CBSN contributor Isaac Stonefish joins me now. He's a senior fellow at the Asia Society Center on U.S.-China Relations. Welcome, Isaac. How exactly have these 6 Republican U.S. lawmakers, quote-unquote, behaved badly, according to China?
It's really interesting how Beijing tries to prescribe a certain type of behavior for Americans when it comes to China. What these lawmakers did is criticize Beijing's policies on Hong Kong, passed or supported legislations that push for more freedoms for citizens in Hong Kong, more independence or at least autonomy for people and institutions in Hong Kong, and they also haven't played by the rules and the regulations that Beijing wants them to play by.
Well, so this is not the first time China has imposed sanctions on Senators Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Congressman Chris Smith. Last month, they were called out for criticizing the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in Western China. They were also banned from traveling to China. Whatever came of those sanctions?
Very little. One wonders if Beijing recognizes how, for all of these lawmakers, this is only a positive when it comes to their domestic constituents and their ability to say to the people who may soon re-elect them, I stood up to communist China, I didn't back down, I'm wearing these sanctions as a badge of pride.
Right. It would seem to suggest that they don't necessarily have an awareness of that fact and the political dynamic at play in the United States that you just outlined. Well, one of the targeted lawmakers, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, said, quote, these toothless sanctions won't have much effect on me, but that's because they were never about me in the first place. Cotton and the other lawmakers being sanctioned are all vocal supporters of President Trump. Could that have been a factor?
It could be. We still don't really know if Beijing wants Trump to get reelected, if it prefers a Biden presidency. It's really hard to know how exactly this has played out. I mean, one could imagine that Xi Jinping told his underlings, Chinese chairman Xi Jinping said, okay, they're doing this, we have to respond in kind, even though Beijing does not have either the history or the ability to sanction, to remove individuals from the global financial institutions, financial system, like the U.S. does.
Well, besides these 6 Republican lawmakers we mentioned, 5 heads of nonprofit and human rights groups were sanctioned. Why are they being targeted?
This, I think, is actually a lot more worrying than the target against the 6 lawmakers. They're being targeted because Beijing either believes or wants other people to believe that the heads of these nonprofit institutions, which include Human Rights Watch, Freedom House, and 3 others, are basically de facto arms of the government, and that these institutions have functioned as Beijing likes to call them, black hands or hostile foreign forces stirring up trouble in Hong Kong. And it sends a chilling effect to civil society in Hong Kong and also to a lot of American nonprofits that want to do good work in China, that want to partner with Chinese institutions for global capacity building and human rights issues, and can have an even more constrained space with which to do that now.
So the U.S. sanctioned Hong Kong officials just last week and a number of Chinese leaders and businesses last month. Are these U.S. sanctions having an impact at all?
I think the U.S. sanctions have a lot more potential financial impact. Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam said about a month ago that if she gets sanctioned, she would just laugh. But for these people who may one day want to leave Hong Kong and settle in the West, or even potentially to South Korea or Tokyo, being sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury does have a lot of teeth and can potentially constrain their ability to do careers outside of being Communist Party officials.
All right, Isaac Stonefish for us. Isaac, thank you very much.